I've never really got on with Vauxhall. Growing up, my dad had company cars and always chose the Escort over the Astra. My first cars were Fords instead of Vauxhalls. I don't know why, it's just for me, they're the rental car, the Retmobile, the car that moves people around and is an effective way of doing that, but ultimately doesn't really have much of a personality. And I'm excluding the special editions and the GTEs and the stuff that I would absolutely own. I'm on about the mass-produced stuff, the masses of cars, the Focus equivalents and so forth. Back in 2003, my wife bought a 1 litre 12-valve Corsa. I didn't like it. In fact, I hated it. The interior was put together by somebody at best. The steering was vague. The power unit was, it was just breathless. I hated it. But in 7.5 years of owning that car, not one repair. It had maintenance and the usual stuff, but it never went wrong. So I can't really argue with it, but I didn't like it either. And that for me sums up my opinion of the bulk of Vauxhall's range. Their USP was good value, reliable, dependable. So what's this? This is the Astra Electric. Is it reliable? Is it dependable? Well, time will tell. But is it good value? I'll come back to the value and the cost and the list price, which is ultimately something you can ignore, but we'll come back to that later on. Let's first have a look around this car. I actually like the family look of Vauxhalls. The facelift Corsa, which is coming on the channel soon. This, the Mocha, they've actually done a good job of Stellantis since they took over. They've given it some style, some purpose. This bonnet crease here, it's unnecessary, but for me, it's worth it. It actually gives it a bit of presence. So yeah, I think they've got the looks okay. It's not the best looking car, and obviously looks are subjective, but I don't mind this at all. The side, again, reasonable profile, Astra-esque, shall we say. There's not a huge amount of design flair. You've got the black roof on this particular ultimate version. So obviously, with it being a press car, it's top spec. Now, it is a combined chassis. You can get a petrol version, a hybrid version, and the full electric. And that kind of shows when you look at the length of the bonnet. Think of a ground-up EV like the ID3, things like that. It's much shorter, so the length of the car's about right, but the inside space I don't think is going to be that good compared to a proper ground-up EV. The entry, average. I mean, you know, it's just a car, it's a family car, remember, so it has to take child seats, and we'll come to the interior in a second, but it's okay, it's average, which is a word I suspect I'll be using quite a lot in this review. The back, very Astra-esque, they've kept it to the family look. It's all right. I quite like the angles they're thrown in, the little brake light at the top there. It's kind of sporty. So again, there's a little bit of intent to it, but there's nothing bad nor exceptional either. Kind of average, really, which sort of sums up the boot. It's not the biggest in its class. It's good enough, though. But again, I would probably go for the estate if you're going to pick an Astra. Maybe it's an age thing. In fact, can anybody in the comments tell me, at what age do estates become more, well, attractive to you? There's definitely an age thing, and for me, I would definitely go for that, not just for the practicality reasons. There's nothing under the boot floor other than a bit for your tyre stuff. Yeah, it will do. Again, average. Charging, 100 kilowatts. Now, CCS, yeah, that's a given, but I think 100's just not quite there, especially with a 50.8 usable battery capacity. It just couldn't. I think 150 now should be, well, the minimum for a modern car, the car that's coming out today. But it will suffice, it will do. Again, it's kind of average. If you don't have a ground-up EV, the chances of having a frunk or a fruit like this doesn't, I mean, there's loads of space here. I'm sure it could be packaged better. So clearly that's the compromise that you have with a combined chassis. So essentially, you've only got space from here, or here really, backwards for you and your stuff. Okay, this is the inside of the Astra, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of, well, black and grey, so it's not the most colourful place to be. Let me turn the car on for a second, if you do by pressing that. So you've got two 10-inch displays, which, don't get me wrong, they're clear, It's not the best infotainment system in the world, but at least you do have shortcut buttons. We'll come back to them in a second though. It's not that configurable. I expected a little more, if I'm honest, and I would like this to curve rather than have that crease down the side. It looks like someone shoved two monitors together, and there's a lot of bezel, a lot of dead space, which, yeah, it's a design decision. I can get over it. The rest of the cabin though, it's hardware in plastic. That's okay, and that I quite like actually. A bit of Alcantara going on there. Remember, this is the top spec version. Black gloss, of course, where you put your fingers. And it's just little details like that, and no lining in here. That is just rattling around and keeps falling over. So a few things that annoy me. These buttons here, again, black gloss. Now, we've deliberately not cleaned this over the last week. It's had kids in it. And that's essentially what you're buying when you get anything with black gloss on it. Well,
it's never going to be clean.
Nah, it's going to be awful. And again, considering the price of this, which we'll come to in a second, it's not the best made thing in the world. You've got wireless charging there, you've got USB slots, a bit of closed storage and 12 volt, all the usual stuff. A glasses case, I guess, if you will, because there's nothing above. And again, these buttons, which I'm all for. I want buttons and knobs in cars, Harry. That's the best thing.
We've got two knobs here.
Absolutely. So you've got all the shortcut stuff for the important things, which is a good plus. But they're not the best feel.
They sort of feel like a wobbly tooth.
Have they actually given us a decent glove box? Hey!
Oh, well, it's all right, that.
It's a full width. Look, Volkswagen, you're looking... It's not bad, is it?
It's not bad. It's like rubberised plastic.
I quite like that carbon fiber effect bit.
It's quite nice.
But again, that's on this edition.
When you get anywhere below the equator,
yeah,
it's just that.
It's not great, is it? Down there, again, the compromise of a not ground up EV. There's no stock. This is complete dead space. Yeah. There's nothing there. And if we open this, which I quite like that, that's quite good. Look how far down it goes. What, 3 inch? Again, complete dead space all the way to the floor. It's not well packaged, I'll say that.
No.
You've got some cup holders here, that's the key, which if you could just put the bottle in there for us, Harry, I've noticed that when I put the foot down,
it does
that.
Yeah.
Even that's not. Now, on the top spec version, you get this, which is a welcome thing, I think.
Oh, can you imagine? Should we see what it's like without one?
Uh-oh.
It's very dark.
It's a sea of black and grey.
I think we'll have that back again.
Yeah, we'll leave that open. The seats, these are, Harry, I don't know if you've realised, but they are recommended for people with back problems. They're basically, they've got lots of support. They've got every adjustment you can think of.
I find them very uncomfortable, to be honest. They're very, very stiff. And that's messing about with all the settings.
Yes, I found them okay. So just to reiterate, this seat is in its furthest back position and it's practically touching the back seat, isn't it?
Yeah.
What?
I can just get my fist in.
Right, okay, there. So this seat is in your comfortable position?
It is, yep.
And again?
If it wasn't for the little bit in the seat where it recesses, I wouldn't be able to
What about underneath? Can you get your feet underneath?
You can get my feet underneath a little bit, yeah, but not much. It's not comfortable.
And the headroom?
That's
not bad, actually. Yeah, that's not too bad. Well, another compromise again. You've got a massive hump in the middle. So that middle seat is pointless.
Yeah, you can't sit there, can you?
So it's a family car for 2 kids at best.
Yeah.
It's not really practical, is it?
Not when you look at what else is around. No.
Oh. All right, well, let's see if it's better on the road. The price. I mentioned it a few times already.
Do we mention it?
We have to do because, I mean, the benefit of doing these reviews after everyone else is that you can see what people are kind of picking up on. And it's all about the list price, which we've said time and time again, you can ignore.
Crazy.
But it is a metric you compare cars between each other.
Well, you have to when you're looking at it because some deals aren't around every month.
Exactly. So, how much do you think? So this is a press car, the ultimate, the top spec version. I don't think there's any other options other than the colour. So how much do you think this is?
I know how much it is just because I've looked. But before I knew, I had a thing in my head. I said it probably wasn't worth it, but 34.
And I would have probably pigeoned this at 37.8 as a top spec, 50 kilowatt hour battery, 43 grand.
I know,
43,000 pound Astra, which is $3,000 more, give or take a few pounds anyway, $3,000 more than a brand new Model 3 Highland.
Yep. And it's going to have the luxury car. Luxury car tax.
Of course, yeah.
It's just
£600 a year if you buy one of these next. If assuming they don't change anything, which they will do.
But, 3,995.
Now, how much do you think the cheapest version is? So this is the top specs. How much do you think the entry level is?
I'm going to stick with 33.
It's 37. Sorry, 37. let's go back to the realistic price.
Yeah.
So I've had a very brief look on Auto Trader, and you can buy the entry level, not this one, for about 26 grand.
That's a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot more realistic, given the quality of the interior and all these other bits and pieces.
The entry level is where the value is.
And an estate.
And the estate. So the entry level estate is the best value version. So who is the rival for this? For me, it's the Renault Megane E-Tech. That's about 26-ish.
Yeah. Yep.
The MG4, although that starts at about 22 in its entry level.
Oh, wow.
Citroen EC4, it's about 22 on the same motor.
Nice.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Same group. That for me was always Vauxhall's unique selling point.
Yeah.
You know, the Citroen, for example, is ultra comfortable.
Yeah.
And the Vauxhalls,
really good.
Yeah, the Peugeots are good. They've all got their own sort of little thing.
So what's this?
Well,
it used to be cheapness.
Value, wasn't it? Value, the dependability. Again, we don't know. It's part of the Stellantis group, so I guess it'll be all right. You only get a 3-year warranty though on the car,
which means that you're going to get some good second-hand deals.
Yes. So I think the value is still sort of there with the Vauxhall thing. I mean, the cheapest EV you can buy, including the Chinese, is the Corsa. The one thing, though, that we've both seen with driving this around is that it is quite efficient.
It is surprisingly efficient.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking Tesla efficiency.
Talking slightly more, probably.
Maybe not high.
More than mine, yeah.
The Model 3s we now both own, this will match.
Yeah.
So,
okay, about 5 miles per kilowatt hour.
This is in summer. Right now, you get 250 miles out of this.
I would think that's about right, yeah.
So I think we'll say 210 all year round average, which ain't bad for 26 grand.
I don't think so.
Because it's more efficient than the ID3s, more efficient than the MG4s, but for the same price as this, you can get an MG4 with a bigger battery, which then puts that ahead. You can
quiet. It's quiet for an electric car, isn't it?
For an electric car, it's quiet, yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't say that's a unique selling point of a car, though, just being quiet.
No.
You need quiet and comfort, which again the C4 kind of takes. So in the whole grand scheme of things, has this taken out the unique selling point of Vauxhall, which was the value?
I think so. I mean, unless you're getting really good PCP deals with it and
That's
deals.
the superpower of Vauxhall, innit? Finance. I think that's where you will probably get people going, well, actually, it's not that expensive.
No, it's a £43,000 car, but I'm getting it for £300 a month.
Yeah. Let's go on the performance side, because this has got about 150 odd brake.
Yeah.
Which is, it's lower than things like the ID3 and the other cars, Born and stuff like that. They've got a couple of hundred brake, but it is still adequate. I don't feel like I'm in a slow car.
It does that usual thing where up to 30 mile an hour it seems to lack a bit of oomph, but as soon as you get to just over 30 it seems to get a second breath. It's just, I don't know.
But the torque you get of an EV for anyone coming straight from petrol,
it's going to feel
quick. Yeah. Who's buying this then?
I think it's the sort of person who just walks into a dealership and just says, what have you got? Oh, we've got this in, I'll have it.
So when Lorna bought her Corsa, she probably did that. Over 20 years ago now.
Yeah. What have you got?
I like the look of that. Yeah. That's a nice colour. How much is it a month?
Well, it's not an emotional purchase, is it, one of these?
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, I completely love that. Vauxhall's evolved with the GTE and VXRs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. There was some emotional sort of attachment to those sorts of things.
Special versions.
But I think with this, you're purely getting this because either it's in stock and it's
readily available.
It's handy, it's there, it's easy.
Bit of brand loyalty.
A bit of brand loyalty. Or you just like, I don't know, maybe you like the look of it.
Yeah, that's enough for some people. I mean,
quite a nice looking car.
It's a cliche, isn't it, car people? But most people aren't us.
No.
Most people just want a car.
Yeah, I tell you what, it is easy to drive.
Yeah.
The steering does feel, in my mind, a little bit awful.
I mean, we should be flying all over the road right now.
You have to put a lot of steering input in, don't you?
Yeah, it's numb, it's very light, so it's perfect for the town.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for people that probably want this type of car. And that's not a derogatory comment.
No.
But
I was trying to explain the steering to my partner, and she was just like, I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah, what does vague mean?
Yeah.
I just feel underwhelmed.
I think that's it. And I know we can get this for a lot less money than the list price, but that is always in the back of my head, is that they've tried to pitch this at £43,000. Saying it's a bad car, I just think
it's not a bad car. I mean, absolutely, we're not saying it's a bad car. We just cannot think of a reason to buy it over the other stuff. Yeah. Even the other stuff in the Stellantis group.
Unless you got a really good deal.
Yeah.
If you got a really good deal on this, then yeah.
don't like the indicator either.
No, I don't. I mean, it's different, but then why can't you turn that off and put the normal one back on?
The one thing I find annoying about the Stellantis group is that the fact that you don't have adjustable regen. You have B mode,
But it doesn't.
yeah, but it gives you
You can
a
sort
choice.
of feel that, can't you?
Yeah, but I want paddles.
I want it to be. Yeah, I would like it so that I can put it on so much that if I take my foot off the brake, I go like that.
This hasn't got one pedal driving.
No, it hasn't. No.
And although I don't really use that, it's an option. It's a software option.
Yeah.
Why not give people an option if you just have to get your software engineers to spend a bit more time doing it? It's a little jiggly.
Yeah.
It's comfortable, but your undulations upset it a little bit.
A little bit.
Which
A little bit of a boob wobble.
Yeah, essentially. A little bit going on there. And it's a shame because the one thing we should give props to Vauxhall over, even though it's Stellantis,
Yeah.
is Ford have nothing like this.
Well, yeah.
They've got the Mustang Mach-E, which is a completely different large car.
Yeah.
They're now the Explorer, which is just an ID, is a bigger SUV. At least Vauxhall have a Corsa, an Astra. Ford got nothing.
Yeah. Ford, no, literally.
No Fiesta, no Focus or equivalent
Well, they're all
name.
disappearing, aren't they?
Yeah, there you go. At least they're actually doing something.
Yeah.
It's just the other Stellantis group cars
Do it
are
a bit better.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know sometimes you get a unicorn deal?
Yeah.
Something you see which if you really wanted it, you have to do it there and then.
Yeah.
And I took a screenshot. I even put it on my Twitter feed if anyone wants to verify it. But essentially, I found an Astra electric from a main dealer on their advertised main dealer page. It wasn't hidden or anything. No industry contacts.
Yeah.
For the base spec, how much do you reckon? So the cheapest on Auto Trader at the moment for this, for a brand new one, is about 26.5, 27.
24.50.
£20,000. 20.5 grand. I'll put a screenshot of it. I should have
I mean,
it still.
at that price.
20 grand.
Yeah. At that price, it's a bit of a deal.
Of a £37,000 list
price
version of that car.
Do you know what? I can't believe you're saying that. Just the discrepancy between what it's listed at and what you could get it for.
They clearly had to hit a target. Something.
Yeah.
There was, I think there were 3 or 4 of them, and they obviously it was one of those where
Pre-registered or
brand new.
wow.
Now I'm interested.
Yeah. Certainly am at that price.
Absolutely, because it's cheaper than a Corsa.
Yeah.
It's still there. It could still be a great value for some people, and then it becomes actually I would then go. I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Just buy it. Well, let's use a similar analogy then that we've used for other cars in this class.
Oh, food based.
What food is this? What is the Vauxhall Astra if you were to order it from a menu?
You go into McDonald's or somewhere like that, and you look at the picture of what you're going to get, and you're like that. Oh wow, yeah, that looks amazing. And then you get it and you open it, and it looks like some sort of dehydrated meat. And you're going, but on the picture it looks a lot better than that. And they go, yeah, it's just yeah.
Yeah.
And that for me, that's what it is.
Expectation.
It's the expectation of it, and then when you get it,
Reality.
the picture of fast food never looks like that when you get it, does it? But do you know what? It's a that'll do.
That'll do.
Yeah.
The Vauxhall That'll Do.
Yeah.
Is that the title?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. This is how we do these things. There's no effort put into it at all.
Nah, just whatever
make
happens,
it up on the
innit?
cuff.
Yeah. That'll do. We'll have that.
Let's end this video with saying that surprisingly quiet on the motorway too.
I think so.
We'll end
yeah.
on a positive.
Yeah.
So there you go. The Vauxhall, that'll do. I can't really think of anything more to say about it, really. No, to be honest. Other than it's got the best number plate.
I think that's the best thing about the car.
If only it was a 69 reg.
I know, and the last 3 letters were yes.